Hey crew, I'm Lexi, your local light worker. I'm a tarot reader and a certified astrologer, and I'm very happy to be talking to you today in this clip about the influence of Jupiter in Pisces. You can expect how Jupiter might influence some of the natal placements in your chart in case you have natal placements in Pisces. And I'm also going to give you some important dates, so stick around. We have a lot to talk about. First off, let's get the technical details out of the way. The important dates that you need to know are: Jupiter has entered the sign of Pisces on the 30th of December, and it will stay there until the 10th of May. So unfortunately, we do not get to experience this blissful influence for more than roughly 5 to 6 months. The good part is that as Jupiter will enter into Aries on the 11th of May 2022, it will also go in a retrograde motion midway through the year. This means that it will retrograde back into Pisces exactly on the 29th of October 2022, and it will complete its retrograde movement on the 20th of December, moving back from Pisces into Aries. Those of you especially that have planets or significant placements in the final degrees of Pisces from the 25th until the 29th degree, if you have any planets there in your chart, you are going to receive an extra boost of luck and a rehashing of certain growth opportunities that you might have glossed over in the first part of 2022. If Jupiter is going to transit in 2022 over your Sun, professional goals, business goals, life purpose goals, anything you want to change about your identity, about your energy level, and health-wise, everything is going to grow. It will expand. You will get a boost of luck and a boost of energy. So if you're thinking of starting your business and you have a Sun in Pisces, next year is the year to go for it. In addition, if Jupiter is transiting over your moon, this talks about deep emotional nourishment. You will feel loved. You will feel relaxed. There will be a lessening of anxiety if you are an anxious prone person. You will also feel very enamored with all of the things in your life. You're going to wake up in the morning and you're going to have a better perspective on life. You'll feel more optimistic, more dreamy, more compassionate, more kind. And this loving projection that you will emanate in your environment is going to come back at you in the shape of perhaps better relationships with your mother, because the moon rules mothering things and maternal issues. But also it could turn you into a mother. If you are a woman and you have your moon in Pisces, next year could be the year when you get pregnant. Or if you're already a mother, your relationship with your children will feel much more easier. It will feel better. You will feel more fulfilled in your maternal role. If you're having Jupiter conjunct your Venus, then next year is gonna be a year of making it rain with money. Your bank account is going to pop. In addition to this, you might be asked on more dates. There could be more romantic interest in you. You're also going to wake up and feel that you look much yummier. You'll look sexier and better. You will make decisions that influence your style and your beauty that are going to be very fortunate. So if you're thinking of changing your look, if you're thinking of looking slightly different or more improved, of doing something to your hair, to your skin, to your teeth, to your wardrobe, then next year is the year to do it. So this is for those of you that natally have Venus in Pisces. You're going to receive a bigger network, more money, more romantic opportunities, and you're going to make some really cool and fortunate beauty and style choices. For those of you that have Jupiter conjunct Mars, well, Mars in Pisces is usually quite lethargic and dreamy. You guys actually need to spend a lot of time dreaming about something before you launch into it and you do it. When Jupiter enters this energy, it actually activates your natal Mars. So you're going to feel like you're going to get a case of cabin fever. You're going to want to travel. You're going to want to do a lot of things. You might even amp up a daily athletic routine if you don't have one already. I think that you're just going to hunker down and actually develop one. You will have so much energy next year, and whatever you take action on will have a fortunate outcome. So be bold, be brave, because Jupiter is really gonna help you. Whatever small action you take, Jupiter is gonna amplify it. So if you felt a little bit shy about, making a first move in a connection, if you felt shy about going to that business meeting or going to that job interview, or if you have felt a little bit blocked in terms of your vitality or your mood, then next year is going to be a complete unblocking of your energy in order for you to proceed forward with your plans. If you have Jupiter conjunct Mercury, welcome to a year of fantastic learning. Your mind is gonna go, woo! You will have so many ideas, you're not going to know what to do with them. So I suggest keeping a pen and paper or downloading one of those notepad apps on your phone so that you can quickly jot down all the ideas that are coming through your mind. You are going to get the most ideas, especially when you sleep, because Jupiter in Pisces functions phenomenally during states of unconsciousness. So the minute you let go of something, the moment you think, oh, I cannot do this, I don't know, I can't understand it, that's the minute it's going to manifest in your life. Your mind is going to be incredibly powerful, so be mindful what thoughts you're going to entertain. If you have negative thoughts and negative self-critical conversations with yourself next year, these will instantly manifest. So be very mindful, my fellow Mercury in Pisces. I have this placement as well. The ways in which you talk to yourself next year are going to define what you're going to create. It's really important as well for 2022 that you start up a daily routine of praying. Feel free to adapt a form of praying to whatever suits you the most, but it's really important to pray because that activates an optimistic intent. It sets out a hopeful intention into the universe, and it has the very wonderful outcome that it can help you bring into being very quickly that very thing that you need in order to proceed successfully with your plans. So Mercury in Pisces, you're going to get lots of ideas. You're going to be super inspired. You're going to enjoy learning. So it's an excellent year to actually take on new courses, especially courses that have to do with non-verbal communication. So for example, a course in cinema or film photography, a course in painting, sculpting, or collaging. These are going to bring you so much joy next year if you are brave enough to just take the first step, and then Jupiter is going to move your Mercury in the right direction. If you have Jupiter conjunct your North Node in Pisces, you guys know that on my channel, I talk a lot about the North Node of the Moon and the South Node of the Moon, those two karmic points that are showing us our destiny and our karmic debt in this lifetime. So if you have a natal North Node in Pisces conjuncting Jupiter by transit next year, then you are going to be more or less forcibly pushed in the direction of your North Node. It might not feel comfortable because the majority of you, all of you that have North Node in Pisces have a South Node in Virgo. So you guys are comfortable with control. You guys are comfortable knowing a lot of things. You might be workaholics. You might enjoy being of service to people compulsively. And you could be neglecting your connection to spirit, your time alone, your interiority, and you might be genuinely afraid of your feelings. You might be afraid to let go, to forgive people, to be soft and yielding and tender-hearted. Well, next year, it will be a really important point of destiny for you guys. You will be challenged to do exactly those things. And the more you do it, the more good luck you will attract. So forgiving somebody that has harmed you is going to bring you exactly the outcome of what you want. Letting go of control is going to manifest something really beautiful in your lives. Taking time resting, sleeping, not doing so much compulsively for other people because you trust that God and other people will take care of themselves. The more trust you put into the unknown next year, which I know it's a big challenge if you have a North Node in Pisces, the better the situation will be. Now, a North Node in Pisces can also talk about mental health problems or indulging in substance abuse or alcohol abuse in order to deal with very difficult feelings, and sometimes even to sleep, because you guys tend to overexert your energy and you easily reach moments of burnout. And sometimes the quickest way to think, oh, I can knock myself out, is to take a pill or to drink something before bedtime, which usually doesn't really work because alcohol inhibits your sleep and it destroys your REM cycle. So I can tell you guys from experience, it's really not the best way to get a really restful good night's sleep. But what can help you? Well, meditation, praying, music, listening to comfy music, listening to people who have soft, soothing voices, being in touch with other Piscean people. So, for example, people like myself with the Sun in Pisces, they are like role models towards what your heart is growing into in terms of experience in this lifetime. And not only your heart, but primarily your soul, because the heart is just this pump in our body that is helping us breathe and it's helping us with all the functions of the body, but it's more about the spiritual meaning of the heart and the spiritual existence of ourselves in this body, which is the soul. And speaking of the soul, let's move on now, after this brief astrological forecast regarding the natal placements that you might have in Pisces. Let's move on now to how this energy could be expressed collective level in 2022. Let's see what we can expect on a larger level. Two things. In order to understand what to expect, we can look backwards to what happened during the months of May until July 2021, when there was a brief stint of the planet Jupiter in the sign of Pisces before it went retrograde into the sign of Aquarius again. So what themes came up into your life? What were some of the events that happened? The events that might have happened for you are definitely related to the house in which you might have Piscean energy. If you don't have a planet in Pisces, that doesn't mean that you don't have Piscean energy in your chart. We all have this in our charts in a specific house. So check that in your natal chart, or feel free to get in touch with me for an astro transits report or a birth chart reading for me to help you clarify that. Check where you have Pisces in your natal chart and go over some of the things that emerged for you in the month of May until July 2021. Some of the things that I witnessed happening last year in May were a lessening of the boundaries that were created by the COVID pandemic. People started taking off their masks in public, and there was a general sense of optimism that we can actually overcome the pandemic, that it's the final strand. There was also a sense that people started being kinder with people on the streets, with homeless people, with beggars, with people that live on the fringes of society. In addition, there was a lessening to the restrictions that were imposed on theater, outdoor events, and performances that were meant for the entertainment of the collective. So I had a feeling that artists, DIYers, craft makers, actors, performers, dancers, singers, all of a sudden could showcase their talents again, which kind of makes me feel that in 2022, if you are engaged in an artistic profession, if you are creating objects that please people's souls, if you are giving something back emotionally from that energy of higher-minded, unconditional love towards people that you haven't met, then you are definitely working with this energy and you will be wonderfully rewarded. It will be a year where your business is going to perk up. You will receive more orders. You will receive more acclaim. People might start writing about whatever it is that you're doing, as long as you fit within these requirements of doing something artistic and doing something that could even have social justice or a social cause involved in it. Last year, I also noticed that more people were saying, I'm gonna go home and rest. I'm gonna go home and sleep. So it feels as if whatever happened to us collectively and personally in the last 3 years, as we had so much Saturnian and Uranus energy in the skies, these are pretty tough, emotionally restrictive energies. Well, I feel that next year, more people are gonna spend time alone, more time sleeping, more time resting, and more time visualizing the kind of life that they want to live. In terms of romance as well, mystery will work in your favor. It could seem very old-fashioned to say this, but it might be a revival of what Betty Friedan called the feminine mystique. This is because Piscean energy is a lot about the unspoken, the elusive, the world beyond the veil. It is that glamour that old-fashioned Hollywood movie star used to portray. It is a lot about mystery working in your favor, and the less you say, the more attractive you will become. Neptune also rules over glitz and glamour, so anything sparkly, anything mermaid-like, anything that has to portray an image of effortless flow, sleepiness, dreaminess, heavy-lidded makeup, anything that kind of makes you look like you just stumbled out of bed and you're like just enjoying life, or you're going with the flow. Any kind of look of that kind will actually be favored. It will also be easier for those of you who are in higher order romantic connections to connect with your twin flame or your soulmate in the 5D. You will be able to receive sexual energy better, and you'll be able to send it quicker. You'll also be able to send telepathic messages, because at the moment, anything that has to do with non-verbal communication will enhance itself. At a personal level, if you are a medium, if you're an astrologer, a tarot reader, an occult teacher, this is your year. It's going to be a phenomenal flow where you can come into contact with other people. So Jupiter is about creating this collective, almost like a global village, and Neptune deals with people that deal with the occult. So it's a global village of occult practitioners coming together. In terms of business situations with co-workers, with friends, with families, with relatives, extended kin situationships, well, a wave of forgiveness is going to wash over everything that has happened in the last years. With Saturn in Capricorn, then with Saturn in Aquarius, still continuing throughout 2022 as well, we are being called to set some pretty heavy boundaries in our personal connections. But at the same time, Jupiter in Pisces in 2022 is going to finally bring more compassion in our interactions. We're going to be able to empathize with the other person's point of view. When Jupiter was in Aquarius, it was a lot about righteous thinking, high-minded, I have this idea, and if you don't agree with me, you're out. While Jupiter in Pisces is more about, okay, I'm open to a dialogue. I want to understand how you see this perspective. Maybe we can reach a compromise, because peace is the ultimate goal. Peace and feeling in harmony with the other person, and not being right and not necessarily being the one that has the best solution to the situation. At the same time, I also noticed last year in the media, more celebrities talking about alcohol and drug consumption. I also noticed that they were more public with it. So I do think that we're going to be seeing more of this next year. There could even be a lessening of the regulation regarding the consumption of marijuana and weed and other opiates. Potentially, there could be a lessening of the restrictions regarding alcohol. People might actually turn towards those things rather than other healthier options next year, due to the current uncertainty created by the fact that very soon, guys, in March 2023, we're going to enter into a completely new era, Pluto in Aquarius. So all this uncertainty, all this collective chaos might make certain individuals turn towards the consumption of things that alter your state of consciousness, get you to escape reality for a period of time. Jupiter in Pisces is also going to bring a lot more faith in the hearts of people. Religion has been changing dramatically since Pluto was in Sagittarius. And we've been called to actually create our own forms of spiritual connection with the divine outside of the traditional patriarchal confines of churches, temples, mosques. Some of us still go and do those kind of things. And next year, they will receive a boost of luck. Potentially, churches, temples, mosques are going to receive more donations. In addition, people that struggle with alimony payments, people that are on parental leave, people that are dealing with disabilities, or they need to cash in money from the government to support their chemotherapy treatments or their mental health counseling. These people are going to get more help next year. And finally everything that has been sitting on or has been delayed in 2021 will finally reach a very happy outcome from that point of view. I do hope that 2022 is going to be a year when we're going to see less homelessness, that we're going to come up with interesting solutions and innovations regarding creating spaces of safety and emotional tranquility for those of us that are on the outskirts of societies, for those of us that are really struggling with the current societal changes at the moment. Now, in terms of weather, wow, expect more rain. It's going to rain, and especially in April, it might be a period when we're going to see even some landslides due to too much rain. There could even be a tsunami or typhoon warnings. There will be something big regarding water that is happening in April next year, because Jupiter expands whatever it touches, and when it touches boundless sea water, Neptune, you can imagine that it's going to be an overflow, a gushing of energy into the collective. Expect as well potentially teary exes returning. Expect to cry more, because we will feel on a personal level this energy very intimately as a need to release a lot of the emotional burdens that we've been carrying in the last years. Expect as well to be more touched, to have your heart chakra activated randomly in very compulsive, strange ways by the energy of Saturn in Aquarius. And expect to be kinder, to find yourself doing things not because it pleases you, but because you feel that you want to make somebody else feel better. So there will be a collective energy of altruism, modesty, and helping each other out on a deeper and more emotional level than it has been so far. The second thing is that in order to understand what to expect from a planetary transit, we can think about the sign and the planet and the godlike myth that it presents. So, for example, Pisces is ruled by Neptune, the Roman god of the sea, and its Greek equivalent is Poseidon, also the god of the sea. So Neptune Poseidon brings a very boundless, flowing energy to Pisceans and their vibration, the way they live their lives. Keep in mind as well that any astrological sign has higher vibration, so they can actually exert the luminous solar qualities of their energy to their best if they really work on it, and if they struggle to bring out from themselves everything that they are in an authentic, honest way. But also, astrological signs can easily slide by living in their shadow, which means that they live inauthentic lives where they do not honor their divinity, and they can become low vibrational Piscean energy. High vibrational Piscean energy talks about forgiveness, unconditional love. It talks about softness, dreaminess, bed pleasures, fertility. Pisceans can be excellent lovers because they understand how to give themselves to other people, irrespective of their race, culture, or the way in which people look like. They understand what it means to actually give yourself fully to someone, even if it's just in the moment. They don't need a long-term commitment or a lifelong commitment to love somebody, mind, body, and soul in the moment. Pisces is also a dual sign. Its nature is split in between two worlds, the world of materiality and spirituality. Its glyph is represented by two fish, one that swims high up towards the heaven and the other one that swims low in very difficult karmic situations that involve an obsession with materialism, an obsession with work, carnality, lust, drama, and the worst kind of all, an obsession with self-destruction and confusion regarding who they are in this world and what their purpose is. When Piscean energy is not connected to the divine, when Piscean energy is somehow unconscious and living in the shadow, it can actually represent itself in some pretty brutal ways, because Pisces rules the 12th house, and the 12th house is a house of escapism. It is a house of abuse. It is a house of secret hidden things and of hidden enemies as well. So things that happen to you randomly without knowing why they happen to you. The 12th house also rules haunting and ancestral imprinting. Another thing I really am excited to talk to you about is frequency flow and frequency jamming. In 2021, with so much energy that is Uranus-led, Jupiter in Aquarius, conjunct Saturn in Aquarius, there has been a lot of frequency jamming, a lot of interferences from EMFs, a lot of interferences from people's unhealed traumas that were just randomly exerted into the collective. There were a lot of accidents, there were a lot of chaotic, spontaneous moments that I witnessed in the collective and also in my personal life. Certain revelations that were shocking. And even though it's good to hear the truth, emotionally, I think a lot of us are still recuperating and healing from whatever this year has brought to you in your personal, individual circumstances. So, in 2022, to get into the frequency flow, you need to identify a string of energy that you would like it to help you manifest. And what you need to do is to sit within that flow in order to replace frequency jamming with a frequency flow. How can you do this? Well, by taking as much time as you can throughout your day, no matter how busy it is, to try to come to a state of peace. Save the best for last. This is potentially the most interesting thing from an occult and intuitive point of view. Your powers of intuition are going to skyrocket next year. So any form of shadow interpretation, any form of intuitive preparation, precognition, the ability to feel and know certain things before they happen, you know, that knowing without knowing why I know certain things is going to be amplified. So next year is a wonderful year for telepathy, telekinesis, precognition, enhancing your intuitive powers, spell work, spiritual praying, any kinds of types of occult practices are going to receive a boost and are going to enhance your knowledge in this area of life. Maybe this is something you'll notice as well in your practice. So I notice in my tarot practice that I'm starting to preempt the cards. I'm thinking of the magician and the magician appears in a reading. I'm thinking of the Eight of Swords and the Eight of Swords appears in a reading. So I was wondering, am I actually manifesting these cards, or is my capacity to feel the cards, even though I'm not aware visually of what is behind the curtain, increasing? It's either precognition or manifestation, but you know, whichever of the two it actually is, all I know is that my abilities are increasing, and the more you do this kind of work, the better you become at it and the more intuitive your powers are. To be honest as well, I noticed something interesting with the skin. Neptune usually rules the feet, and Pisceans are famous for having very sensitive feet. But at the same time, skin is really an incredibly interesting thing with Piscean people. I suffered my whole life from skin problems. I had very fatty skin, and I had a very acne-prone puberty and adolescence, trying to struggle with cleansing myself to the point of really hurting my skin. Notice in this period as well that some flare-ups can happen. Maybe your skin might glow more. Maybe your skin will have certain mysterious rashes or symptoms. Your skin is going to also become incredibly sensitive, so that only by placing yourself next to someone, you can feel it through your skin that their aura is maybe not so good for you or incredibly nourishing towards you. So skin issues, skin transmissibility, skin sensitivity is going to be heightened next year as well. Okay, so that's what I had for you. I really hope you found this video useful. Bookmark it, come back to it, and let me know. Comment down below your experiences. What have you been thinking about this energy? It's still very fresh. It's only 48 hours of Jupiter in Pisces, but I know you guys have extrasensorial abilities, so let me know. Are you using precognition? Did you have interesting dreams? Already some of you have been messaging me and telling me that you're having a better sleeping time all of a sudden, which is an indication of Jupiter in Pisces. So more sleeping time, more rest, more dreaminess, more creative escapism. Let me know down in the comments. Feel free to get in touch with me for a personal birth chart reading or an astro transits report. I offer those. I'm sending you lots of love. Mwah! Have a wonderful, blessed Jupiter in Pisces.